Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're starting off front page review today with The Nation major headline. Tinubu, relief measures for poor and small businesses to go on. Tax reform designed to further stimulate the economy. 3 states to get ultimatum to decide on state police. Kwara, Kebbi, Adamawa listed. Sanwo-Olu proposes 3 trillion naira 2025 estimates. Work to start on green rail line. In other news, House of Reps throws out 6-year single-term bill for president. Senate approves 1.77 trillion naira external loan request. BOI's support for MSMEs, others crosses $5 billion. And ECWA's arrest in Finland, victory for anti-terror battle. That's from the department, DHQ. So what story are we starting with?
Okay, so I have good news for the NDLEA. The Senate following its adoption of the report of the Conference Committee on the amendment of the NDLEA Act, they passed an amendment to that act. And this amendment now states, the committee recommended that any person who is unlawfully involved in the storage, custody, movement, carriage, or concealment of dangerous drugs or controlled substances, and who, while so involved, is armed with any offensive weapon or is disguised in any way, shall be guilty of an offense under this act and liable to conviction to be sentenced to life imprisonment. This has upgraded and empowered the NDLEA Act further. They also amended the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. They empowered them. So they followed their constitution and adopted that a report of the National Planning and Economic Affairs, Finance and Appropriation plenary and proposed that RAMFAC should now have power to monitor accrual to and disbursement from the Federation account. Or maybe that would encourage them, but the one that stands out for me is the NDLEA upgrade, because, we need stiffer penalties, and that's what we're looking at now.
The Bank of Industry BOI has garnered over $5 billion from the international capital markets through Eurobonds, loan syndications, and green finance instruments. The Managing Director, CEO of the Development Finance Institution, Dr. Olusi, said that concluded that a global loan syndication that raised nearly 2 billion euros, which in his words is the largest fundraising in BOI's history, and indeed the largest syndication in the history of African DFIs so far. He also said that to mark this historic milestone, he listed a bit of the achievements that they have done so far. He also stated that BOI's authorized share capital was increased to 250 billion naira in 2017, so as to put the bank in a position to address its mandates better. But that last year, May 2023, this increased to 500 billion naira. He also said that given the pivotal role of micro, small and medium enterprises in national economic development, BOI in 2014 emerged 122 small and medium enterprises consultants and entered strategic alliance with over 10 SMEs-friendly commercial banks, saying that as of today, BOI has over 300 business development service providers support SMEs nationwide. This is great because the more they increase this, the more they raise this, the more the available resources to be given out to, medium and small-scale businesses.
Good. Yeah, I have the one of the 3 states to get ultimatum to decide on state police. Okay. And this one says Kwara, Kebbi, and Adamawa states have been listed as 3 of the states that are yet to submit their positions on state police and have been given 1-week ultimatum.
Take a position.
Yes, to take a position. The National Economic Council, NEC, which gave the order yesterday after its 146th meeting, explained that the council will take its decision on the creation of state police next month. And the NEC chair was the vice president in the Critical Economy Advisory Board, said that this NEC meeting was made up of governors and members of the federal government economic team. That after yesterday's meeting, the Bayelsa State Governor, Doye Diri, said the council was updated with the submission of the establishment of state police, and it was reported that 33 states have submitted their positions, while 3 states are yet to do so. And these states, like I mentioned, Adamawa, Kebbi, and incidentally Kwara, which is the chairman of our forum, and the FCT are yet to submit their position. And the council has already said that after 1 week, they will be the one to enact these positions for them. So maybe they will now have a choice, or they will no longer have a choice. We'll wait till then.
Just take a position. You
Just
cannot be in between.
somewhere.
Not be everywhere.
All right, so I'm taking the story about the president who was speaking in Rio de Janeiro to the IMF, the managing director of IMF, Madam Kristalina Georgieva. And this was because she met him at the sideline of the G20 meeting, which is going on in Rio de Janeiro, and spoke about the fact that there are lots of policies, the twin policy that the president carried out immediately he took power, which is floating the naira and removal of subsidy, is a policy that is in the right direction, though they are trying to carry out a lot of amelioration to the hardship that has been induced by the implementation of those policies. But those policies are in the right direction. In the conversation, they mentioned the fact that there are going to be continuing the stimulation, the support of small businesses. They said relief measures for the poor and small businesses would go on, and they're going to also work on the improvement of access to education, which is very critical. It's good to see our president being acknowledged at this level of the G20 meetings and getting interactions with the IMF. But the IMF, whenever we have conversations with the IMF, is always with a grain of salt that, are they really for us or against us? And so we must be careful of, if they are hailing us, we should be careful, because hailing us does not necessarily mean that we're doing the right thing. Moving on to the Punch, major headline. Anti-Tinubu comments. ACF suspends chairman as Afenifere others back the president. Tinubu inherited Buhari's economic policies, or Aneze, Middle Belt, others reply ACF. Other news, we cannot miss the picture of I think this is the National Executive Council. Usually it's on Wednesday, but they did not put what is there. But they said the other stories we have beneath the pictures carry the fact that the serial grid collapse, NEC panel to boost power generation in states. Lagos, 3 trillion 2025 budget prioritizes infrastructure and tourism. Visiting US-based Nigerian bought 9 drugs before death. That's from the police. Winners get 77 million naira in Zenith Bank Tech Fair. 21 states enroll for the African Development Bank 850 billion agri scheme. Federal government governors decide on state police next week. ECOWAS terror charge. Federal government presses for extradition as IPOB disowns Biafra agitator. And PDP postpones NEC meeting as North Central insists on chair. All right, okay, what story are we starting with?
It's a very short story. So on Wednesday, the Ogun State Police Command had been called on the issue of the lifeless body found in a hotel by the chief security officer of the hotel and I'd like not to state the name of the hotel, but the hotel did the needful. This visiting Nigerian, US-based Nigerian had found that he was not active in his room. They called on the phone number of his relative that he was locked from within, and his relative requested the spare key with which they went there, and they found him lifeless.
Wow.
The police were called in, and the police said, well, at the time the police arrived, they found the lifeless body already in the car by his family members who were already taking him for burial. And so investigations led to them finding about 9 different drugs and medications that he was using in his room, either stating that he was on some form of medication, really, or that,
and maybe they counteracted with the drugs being used.
I hope they will further investigate it to see.
Proper autopsy being done, don't just bury. Okay. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the front page review. Please stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.